Did Google email you over the weekend about something to fix on your website or maybe your client's website? Will removing pages from massive websites help fix problems with pages being discovered but not crawled by Google? The showdown is here. AI versus humans, SEO edition. You're listening to News from the Edge for the week of July 17th, 2023, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Mordy Oberstein, the head of SEO branding at Wix. Erin is out this week. He's out to lunch like every week, but literally out to lunch. Erin's on a lunch break and couldn't do the podcast, so he's not here. But Jacob and I are here to guide you through this week's SEO news. We're covering the SEO and digital marketing news of the week, separate from our weekly interviews, getting more news to you even more quickly. Be sure to check us out. All the recent shows we've done over at edgeofthewebradio.com. Welcome to the Site Strategics digital marketing news desk of Edge of the Web. We're proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web, the top SEO company in the region. The team at Site Strategics are constant learners. That's the reason for the show. I'll talk a little bit more about them during the show. How are you, Jacob?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thanks, Morty.
That's good. I didn't see a slide for banter, so I took a pause.
Oh, but I'm glad you're not reading the titles of the slides this time. That's a big improvement.
I learn. I'm a constant learner.
A constant learner. You could work for Site
learning.
Strategics.
Yes, but by the way, constant can be like super slow. Like I'm constantly learning. It's just taking forever.
It's true. Yeah, I guess it doesn't speak to the speed of the learning.
Right. So maybe we should change it to constantly fast learners.
Fast. Quickening.
When we make mistakes, we fix them quickly.
More quickly.
More quickly, even more faster. Separate from our interview learning.
That's right.
How's your rotator cuff, buddy?
It's getting there. It's slow. It's a 2-month process before I'm allowed to do anything that is strengthening for it. So PT is really just a person grabbing my arm and slowly stretching it around, which hurts a lot. But then I get ice. So I'm enjoying the ice a lot.
How many times has your wife giving you like dirty look for like not doing stuff around the house?
Not too much. She's pretty good, but she still has to help me put a shirt on in the morning, so it's pretty easy to get away with not doing.
Is that why it's on backwards today?
Oh shoot! Is it? No, son of a gun. Inside out, backwards. Yeah, whatever.
Inside out. She did it on purpose, probably.
She probably would.
Well, where's Erin this week? He's gone. We lost him.
Yeah, he's on vacation this week. So.
Wow, the privileged life, huh?
It's not bad, man. See, and
there's no Zoom wherever he is. They don't have Zoom.
There might not be. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Oh, where is he?
We try to hit him up right in the middle of the podcast. Just call him up.
We should get him on the phone.
Get his opinion on one of these articles.
Yeah, a random article.
Don't even because he hasn't seen any of these. We could just read in the headline, just be like, "What's your hot take?" Go.
Oh, I like that. Speaking of reading the news, let's hit our first article.
All right.
This one coming from Search Engine Land. Google's Core Web Vitals IMP issues email causing concern. Earlier this week, Google began sending out email notices through Google's Search Console to those site owners where their site's INP scores, that's Interactions Index Paint scores, were not up to snuff. These notices had the subject line, Core Web Vitals IMP issues detected on your site. That coming from Barry Schwartz, again, over at Search Engine Land. The issue there, as Barry points out through the lovely people he quoted in the article via their tweets, is that, well, two things. One is IMP is a Core Web Vital, and Core Web Vitals from a ranking perspective were not very impactful. They're very, very minute. And in fact, in Barry's video recap over at SE Roundtable, Barry went off. I mean, Barry went off for Barry. It was like mildly upset for normal people, but for Barry, it was very upset. And he basically said, hey, look, like Core Web Vitals is a very, very, very small little ranking factor. And now you're talking about one small little factor within the small ranking factor or making a big deal out of it. And it's a point like Google went on the hype machine the first time around the Core Web Vitals, and you can't do that again. No one's buying that. At the same time, if your client got these emails, the client was like, whoa, what is going on here? I have issues on my site. What what did you do to my site? And the answer is nothing. Nothing actually changed. The only thing that changed is that Google integrated IMP into Search Console, and the left hand didn't talk to the right hand. And now that it's in Search Console, it started sending out automatic notifications. The real issue, as I see it, is none of this actually comes due until March 2024, leaving aside the fact that it's not really that big of a deal from a ranking point of view. But let's focus on performance from the user's point of view. You want to make sure that the website functions as pristinely as possible for the sake of your users. Great. This is new for the web. The web is aligning. Google barely has released any guidelines about it. There hasn't been much talk about it whatsoever. I can tell you because we at Wix have been working on this well before Google even announced this. I'll just give you some back-end information. Like originally IMP was having issues with single page applications, Wix being a single page application. So we've been in conversation with them for a long time about how to go about measuring IMP, how should it function, what should we be doing, what should Google be doing? And Google and let's say and us have been making improvements all along. In fact, on the Wix side, we've gotten mobile in the US up to 83% of Wix sites pass IMP. But now our users are getting issues. Oh, some of their websites don't pass IMP, but it's still a work in progress for the web. The web is still very much aligning to this very, very new thing that Google's barely talking about, or has barely talked about, rather. While Google's just getting started talking about this, and while the web is just aligning to all of this, Google's like, hey, client, while your SEO and developer and web platforms and the whole web overall aligns to this very new thing, let us tell you, you have some issues.
Well,
it doesn't feel right.
It's kind of pass-fail too, right? Isn't it? It doesn't say you're close. It just either you have issues or you don't. So yeah, if you get an email that says you have issues, that's scary.
3-second fix.
Yeah.
3-second fix, a little nothing over here. If you would have been focused on IMP at all over the last few years, you would have fixed this already. But you haven't been because you've been focused on the other core web vitals. So yeah, it's there's no severity. There's nothing. There's no information, just issues. You have issues.
Right.
It's like showing up at a psychologist's office like, you, sir, have issues.
I feel like you've been following me.
I was talking to myself.
Oh,
sorry. But good job calling yourself out, buddy.
We've all been there.
Oh, many times over.
These keep coming back around, and they're always like, it's not a ranking factor. It's not a ranking factor. But I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. If I have a homepage with 30 images and each image is 500 megabytes in size, my page is going to be super slow to load. Doesn't that create the user experience to be so bad that it gives signals back to Google, maybe not to rank a page? So while Google isn't looking at my file size and determining what to do, the user experience is so poor on my web page that it's going to cause that's why they're sharing this information with us, right? That's why if the user experience is good, they will go to your page, they will stay, they'll go to other links, they won't bounce, and that will help. Am I saying that right?
I mean, look, sort of, kind of, I think. I mean, yeah, if your site is super slow, it's an absolute disaster, and then, yeah, that probably could impact. It is a ranking factor. I'm not saying it's not a ranking factor.
Okay.
But keywords in the URL are also a ranking factor.
Right.
Technically speaking. And it's relatively meaningless for the most part. Not to say there aren't scenarios where the keyword in the URL does matter. Not to say there aren't cases where IMP or the other core web vitals does matter. Well, IMP doesn't because, again, not until March 2024 anyway.
Sure.
But for the most part, it's not really a thing. And, and I think what's going on here is Google wants the web to get faster for a variety of reasons, one of which is resources.
Right.
It's less resources to crawl faster websites. I think making a big deal out of it the same way as core web vitals the first time around, you can't do that. That ship has already sailed. And we all know the jig is up. Didn't do anything for the most part.
Right.
So you can't do that. At the same time, getting people into a frenzy doesn't make any sense because the web is still aligning. So why are you getting people to a frenzy for? We're working on it. And the third thing is, I have a hot take. Crystal and I just spoke about this on the Surf's Up podcast. We did a whole episode about page experience with Brittany Muller. And my take is, look, if you want the web to be faster, none of this is going to work. Right? The average site, the average person, the average business owner, the average, entrepreneur, the average big company who's not really focused on SEO kind of thing, isn't going to start thinking, you know what do I do to really improve performance here? I have to get rid of the big image, but I like the big image. You really have to dive into the nitty gritty and you really have to start splitting hairs in order to get your performance to be like that much faster a lot of the times. That's one problem. The second problem is the things that you have to do are kind of like counterintuitive to what you do as a marketer, as a designer, or as as a site owner, whatever it is. You like having a big video there. You like having a big image there. You like the design to look a certain way. You like it to be animated. You like it to look fancy. It doesn't align. Core Web Vitals and all this shtick doesn't align to what people naturally want to do with their websites. So until basically we create a format or a system or a file type or a construct where you're able to put the image where you want to put the image, where you're able to embed the video you want to embed, where you're able to have that really nice animation that's really going to get your customers driving those conversions, the web is not going to get that much faster. And it hasn't. Core Web Vitals been around, what, 2 years already? Has the web gotten that much faster? No, because it doesn't align with the way the average person, and I don't mean just average like, a site owner. I mean a marketer. I mean a designer. I mean a dev to a certain extent of what they're naturally wanting to do with a website. Until Google changes or until someone comes around and says, hey, I've got a really cool format for an image. You can have this giant ass banner image up there, hero image, and it'll load super quick. Web performance, the speed of the internet will not fundamentally change. Hot take right here on Edge of the Web.
I like it. And I'll add to that hot take and say when we can roll out the next generation speed of internet for everyone in their home on their mobiles, it's, whatever. We'll just say 10 times faster than the fastest you can get today. People are just going to make the websites more impressive. I want more videos. I want more images. I need that high res image now. And suddenly.
And then you can have it.
Right.
You can have it. Technology will let you have it. By the way, I'll point out something. When people look at Core Web Vital scores, there's a whole bunch of BS that people don't realize that a lot of it has to do with the geo. If you take a look, let's say, imagine you have an international web company. They have a website in the US and they have a website in Brazil, and you've optimized them the same way. Your scores in Brazil are going to inherently be slower. You know why? Because the internet is not as good. The speed is not as good. You will inherently be slower. So when people are looking at Core Web Vital scores, they don't even know how to parse them half the time because geo matters a lot.
Didn't know that.
See?
Good to know.
Now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
You know.
I always go G.I. Joe with that. And now you know. And knowing is half the battle.
We should have G.I. Joe do a whole The More You Know every
I thought they should, because Barbie's coming out, right? I thought they should have like G.I. Joe and Barbie come out the same day.
Nice,
right? That would have been a PR thing. Well, too late now. I'll have to go watch Barbie. All right, article number 2. This one from SEJ, Search Engine Journal, from Roger Monti. Google's John Mueller answered question. Oh, actually, I didn't read the title. Google on fixing discovered, currently not indexed. Google's John Mueller answered whether removing pages from a large site helps to solve the problem of pages that are discovered by Google, but not yet indexed by Google or crawled by Google. John offered general insights on how to solve this issue, but he's saying, yeah, not really a thing. The reason why I threw this in here, by the way, is not because of this part of deleting the pages. Everyone kind of realizes like, nah, it's not really going to be the thing. Like, don't de-index the pages that are there. It's not going to really solve most of the things. What John did say was that discovered, currently not indexed, a lot of it has to do with site quality and whether or not Google thinks the site is of quality to go back and crawl those URLs that it discovered and then decide to index them or not to index them. Implying that if Google knows your site is awesome, it will say, hey, we discovered this URL. We should probably go back there and crawl and index them. That for smaller sites, right? So I was thinking, does that mean, so if you have a smaller site, let's say, and you see a lot of pages that Google discovered the pages, but it hasn't crawled and indexed them, is that a testament, perhaps, obviously not only, but perhaps to the fact that maybe your site's not of the highest quality? Jacob, what do you think?
I guess it depends.
It depends.
I'd want to see a list
answer,
of the pages. Are we talking about
blog pages?
Yeah, like deep blog pages and stuff like that. Things that are just kind of old and everything else. I don't know if that would bother me too much. As long as my pillar pages, my core pages, my product pages, as long as those are getting indexed.
Blog pages, you gotta get that blog going, dude.
That's right.
You gotta bring in the people.
I don't know. I guess I need to see some examples of where this is happening and see where these pages are not being indexed to fully grasp it, I guess.
So I actually asked the Hive Mind on Twitter about this. Some people, like, for example, Tom Nealon, who's at SEO for Wix, great guy, by the way. He wrote, I sure would. I often see sites let their images, videos do the talking rather than using text. By relying on small amounts of text, is Google pretty clueless about the purpose of the site, and that raises the content issues leading to quality problems. And he's basically implying that on those kind of sites, he's seen crawled, discovered, but currently not indexed. Celeste Gomez was talking that, I have to message her back. I'm terrible. That Melissa Pop over at Rickety Roo, that they were talking about this, and they've seeming to imply that they've seen this kind of, pop up, and that's one of their theories. Darth Autocrat yelled in, as he always does. Hello, Darth, how are you? He said, yes, no, yes, how Google responds to your site, percentage of crawl, percentage of index, the rate of hits, blah, 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 can give some insight into how Google sees your site, but there's also the technical facets, blah, blah, blah. It does all depend. He's right about that. But it does seem that like the hive mind is a little bit on board with the idea that, quite possibly the reason why you're seeing crawl but not discovered, but currently not indexed, is a quality issue overall. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Are you seeing this at a certain cutoff? Like sites with less than 500 pages never have this problem. Sites with over 5,000 pages always have
No,
this problem.
I've seen it across the board. It doesn't matter the
Okay.
size of the site. You have tons of these pages.
Sure. Yeah.
And all the time it's just like, Google will get around to it and eventually crawl them, index them, or not index them if they stink.
Right. Have you seen pages that are discovered not indexed if you request a re-index, even if you haven't made a change? Does that ever help? Does that, if you're specifying to Google?
It's resubmitting helps.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying like not even making a change to it. Like maybe I think this page does have enough content. It's similar to others. Just do a re-index. Does that normally kind of get it going?
I've never, like, if Google's going to get to it and then get to it kind of thing. But, sometimes the prompt works.
Yeah.
A little nudge.
Hit it with a hammer.
I'm a big fan of nudging.
Hit it with a hammer.
In general. Who?
Hit it with a hammer.
Yeah, hit it with a sledgehammer. Sledgehammer. Live read number 2. But we didn't do live read number 1. This deck is funny. Anyway, we're proud to have I broke the fourth wall. We're proud to have Site Strategics as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. The firm is 19 years old, whose core specialties are entity SEO, technical SEO, search engine marketing, social media, web development, and conversion optimization, results-based marketing that works. They also have developed a unique omni-channel media marketing and content curation process, guided by the weekly R&D from the Edge of the Web interviews, incorporating the best techniques for content broadcast strategy and execution. If you're interested in what they can do for you, give them a call over at 877 SEO for Web. That's 877 SEO for Web, or in numbers 877-736 4932, 877-736-4932. News article number 3 from Reboot: AI versus humans. This time it's for real. Got it in, buddy. You got it in there.
Got it in there.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Erin's proud. We're all proud of you. The SEO content experiment. The results from a 3-month controlled SEO experiment comparing human to AI by Oliver Sissons. All right, so basically what they did was as much of a controlled experiment as possible, but take a topic that doesn't really exist, make it up. So there's no content out there. There's no links or anything to the sites or to the pages. Spin up some content, some from AI, some from a human, and see what ranks. And for the most part, the human content ranked better because only this content was ranked because, again, it's a made-up term. What's interesting, what I found interesting from this one was that the human content wasn't that different in terms of, like, the topics that it was covering, how prolific it was. I don't think that was really it. And from my point of view, just looking at it, it wasn't like, like the AI content was thin, the AI content just was off, and the human content was just so much better. It wasn't like that. What I think a lot of it was is that the human content was written in a way that the structure of the content was human, and the AI content was structured like a machine. And to me, what I took away from this was when Google sees that the language structure, I've been talking about this for a long time, mentioned it many, many times in this very podcast. When the language structure is like a machine, Google can pick up on it. And when the language structure is like a human, Google can pick up on it. In fact, Gary Ish kind of confirmed this a few weeks ago when he said, there was from an SEO Google Search Live event, whatever they call them, in Tokyo. And he said that Google profiles natural written content using its machine learning language models to profile and say, hey, this kind of content is natural content. It's human generated content, that kind of thing. And it's able to understand what that looks like. And then say, when looking at your content, being that it was trained on human natural content, whether or not your content fits that bill or not. I think that's what you're literally seeing here in this test. Thoughts from Jacob?
I definitely want to dig into this test some more, but yeah, I think that, I mean, Google has said we're not going to penalize you for AI content, so it doesn't surprise me that it's
Wow.
ranking. I mean, they're not going to pay you
Well,
penalize you for high quality AI content. And I think we have talked forever, even if AI is generating great content for you, you still should really be going in there and editing it a little bit, like make sure
but
it's
my
relevant, make
thing
sure it
is,
fits.
it could be relevant, but if the language structure it gets profiled as being AI generated
Right?
and not natural, meaning not human generated, is it biased against in how Google approaches that ranking that content? Because Google's, like Gary pointed out, is being trained on natural content.
Right.
It might be just as good, let's say, but the language structure is machine versus human. And when Google says, "Oh, we're not targeting," got a bone to pick with that, because when Google says, "Oh, we're not targeting AI content," for years Google has said AI written content not allowed, not accepted. Our guidelines do not allow it. And then all of a sudden they took a very different tone, very subtle. It wasn't like we said we're changing our guidance, we're wrong, AI is fine now.
Do you think that's
They started
because
saying,
it
"Well, no, we're not targeting the content. If it's written well, it's written well. It doesn't matter who wrote it."
but do you think that's
Just as they're
because
releasing their
like
own
that
AI.
that shift, that ChatGPT shift, if we'll call it, like suddenly everyone's doing it. And I mean, it
It's
varies from topic
marijuana.
to topic, but legit, like it can write some good stuff. And it can be good enough that with little to no editing can sound like it was
For
written by a human.
certain things.
For certain things,
For
absolutely.
certain things.
But like, do you
For
think that's
very
part of
certain things.
do you think that's part of the move? Is like it's either too difficult to detect or
No, I think they can
it's
figure it out.
yeah, I think they could, but I still feel like
I think they realize that it's here to stay and they're
right.
okay with it to a certain extent. And at the same time, they're also the ones producing it. So, like, what the hell are they going to say? Like,
Right.
they're the ones producing half of this stuff at this point.
I guess the
So what are you
example
gonna
is if
say?
I had AI spin up content for me that I knew nothing about, and
Mhm.
maybe I fact check it or I just whatever. It's content you do know about. So you read it real quick, you say, yeah, factually everything in here is fine. So I'm not worried about anything there. I think I could put that article up on one screen. On another, I could just retype the article in my own words, knowing that everything I'm reading is accurate, which I know is not true always with AI. I'm not trying to say that. But do you think that because of that, they know people will do something like that? So they have to let it in. Morty, you have
I'm
your
raising my
hand up.
hand. Yeah, call me.
Yes, sir, Morty. On
Who,
the
me?
left. Yes, on the
I
left
forgot.
there.
I forgot what I was gonna say, teacher. I forgot what I was gonna say. You smell bad.
That's probably true.
Well, oh, really?
It's the sling.
Oh, sure, it's a sling. You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
Okay,
Here's with the
that's
truth.
right. This is the truth, straight from the horse's mouth. Nay. If Google started saying AI content bad, then Google stock price would go down.
Oh. Okay.
That's the truth. If
Do
you
you think
want
that
your stock to stay up, you need to be on the AI bandwagon. And if you start saying, "Oh no, oh we're not with that AI content. Oh no, Wilbur, we're anti that AI content," then all the people who rate stocks, oh, what are those agencies, companies, oversight seers people are going to downgrade that stock. And that's why Google said, memo from the CEO. Hey, John Mueller, when you're out there on Twitter, do us a solid. Stop saying, and you too, Danny Sullivan, stop saying no to the AI content. You need to take a softer approach so that we don't get dinged on our stock price for being anti-AI. That is the truth.
Interesting. Do you think that likewise it also has to do with their own search generative experience? We can't say no to AI if we're openly using it.
That was my opinion until like 5 minutes ago.
Oh,
Until I
okay.
realized
This
right
is
on
a
this show.
super hot take.
Yeah, I just came up. I'm like, wait a second, that's what it is.
Had we recorded this morning,
Different take.
This conversation would not have happened.
It just hit,
That's
yeah. And I
interesting.
feel stupid that it took me this long to realize that.
It's very interesting.
Yes, it's part of it. We have the AI. We want to promote the AI. We want to be all for AI. So we can't be anti-AI
Right.
on the search side. Not because of, I think, of the hypocritical aspect of it. I don't think like, it comes as hypocrites all the time. I think it's because, okay, we have to promote this product and we can't not promote this product by saying we're anti-AI. We have to be pro-AI. I would put money that there was an internal memo passed down to Google saying, hey, our public people, when you're out there, you cannot be crapping on the AI because it will get picked up on and someone will ding our stock price with it. I do believe that.
It's
Conspiracy
solid.
theory or not.
I think it's a great theory.
Yep. Weigh in on Twitter. What do you think of my theory? I'm
Yeah.
trying to be interactive with the audience. I love you, audience. We love you so much.
Tell us on Twitter as long as we
Tell us on Twitter or on Threads. If you're on
maybe
Threads.
we'll see it, or maybe we'll run out of the amount of tweets we're allowed to see every day before we see your response.
I had Wick said, "Hey, do you want the blue thing? We want to buy you the blue thing." So now I have unlimited. I think. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, then you can tell us because I don't have.
I'll let you know. Yeah, let me know. I'll share some of my. If you want, you can use some of my stock, like my stockpile of tweets. If you're like, oh, I ran out, hit me up. I'll take screenshots for you and email them to you.
This sounds really efficient.
Of your favorite tweets.
This sounds
I'll
super
charge for it.
efficient. Yeah.
$5 a tweet. Anyway, AI news. Should we do some AI news, Jacob?
What we got?
All right. AI news. We want to bring you some AI news. AI news. AI news. That's our AI theme song. I just made it up.
No way.
All right, Google. Yeah. AI news. Google expands Bard to more countries, more languages, and adds new features. So that's good. One of the new features, by the way, that's coming from Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Land. He also covered it at Search Engine Roundtable. So you choose which one was the original source. But basically, it does things now like it reads the answer to you. That's cool, right? That's awesome. You can pin conversations. You can export code to more places. A lot of great stuff for Bard. It's expanded. By the way, funny story. Barry had NSC Roundtable the day before this, or maybe 2 days before this. No new updates from Bard in 5 weeks. And then boom, update from Bard. Coincidence? I don't think so.
Barry is in charge.
Barry is in charge of the internet. All things internet are Barry. All right. Is ChatGPT getting dumber?
Derp. I think it is.
Usage drops as users complain. People are complaining? I don't believe that. That coming from Matt Southern over at Search Engine Journal. OpenAI said, maybe it's the fact that you're using it more often and you're just seeing it and seeing, picking up on the flaws as you use it more often. That's probably what it is. What I think it is very similar to that. It's like, the AI. The AI. It's amazing AI. AI. It's just so good. Amazing AI. Yes, AI. That wow factor is worn off, like all things. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Actually, I don't hate that at all. I told you this on all of the podcasts that I do, and multiple episodes of all of the podcasts that I do.
True.
That this is going to be someone. AI is here to stay, but the hype is a fad, and the idea of, oh, wow, AI, it wrote me a poem. It's amazing. Look at the AI could do. It is amazing. It's amazing. It wrote a poem for me. It made rhymes. It is amazing. But now when you look at, okay, I fired my content team, and now I'm using it. And now I'm like looking at the content like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have fired Susan and Steve because this is not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
I don't want to admit my mistake. AI, you're getting worse.
Do you think it's also people pushing it
fault.
to new limits? Like when it first came out, people are like asking it really basic things, right? Because I've never talked to AI, so like you'd say things like,
"Why? Quite possible.
Why do clouds form in the sky?" And it's really simple answer. But now if you're going to ask it
happy
complex,
puffs of marijuana cigarettes that float up into the air.
Sounds like something AI.
We're like, oh yeah, that's cool. AI wrote that up, pretty good.
But I wonder, if people are hitting it with more complex things and pushing it further than they did initially.
Yeah, because they fired their content team, so
And
now
they
they got to
fired
push
their
it further.
content
Like, it's not as good. Yeah, I think so. I think like, okay, we're going to use this. I think we're getting to the point where we're actually trying to implement it into things that matter for our customers and our bottom line. And we're like, whoa. Like, that's not as good as I thought it was. It's like you spun up all this stuff and now you're like going back and reading it. Like, doobity doodah. This is not sensical. Oh no. I've had this page for 5 months.
Oops.
Oh, I blame the AI because it's getting stupider, not me for being stupid to begin with. Who's stupid now?
Right. Stupid.
Definitely the AI that's continuously learning and only getting smarter. That's the thing that's getting stupider, not you.
Well, what other AI is being used less and less, Morty?
Oh, that's polls show. We're using Google's search generative experience less often. That's right. From Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Roundtable. Greg Sterling, who I keep meaning to have on the Search Up podcast. Greg, I'm going to have you on. You're on the list. I just haven't gotten to a local topic yet. Curious for those with Google SGE, writes Greg, are you using it more or less, or you got access? CC Rusty Brick. That CC Rusty Brick really paid off for you, Greg. He covered it in the whole article. 48% of SEOs or people surveyed by Greg, who are probably mostly SEOs because that's who follows Greg for the most part. By the way, follow Greg over at G Sterling on Twitter. 48.8% of respondents wrote less.
I believe
Only 9.1% wrote more.
Yeah.
It's over. So I'm saying the hype train is over. It's becoming normalized. We're falling out of love with it. We're really like, it's like you went out with somebody for a long time, like, and then you marry them, right? And then you marry for a year, 2 years, 15 years. And you're like, wait a second. I know you.
You're AI. Did I marry
You-
AI?
I thought you were X. And you're way better. You're way better than I thought you were.
I like that. That's a good
Yeah.
backpedal. I mean,
Just in case,
that's yeah.
just in case the wives are listening, right?
I think it makes sense. I think I wanted to try SGE when I first heard about it and was eager to try it out and see what it did. I don't like it. It's a huge
hate it.
list. I feel, you know what? I mean, it comes back
The
to, and maybe it's different for SEOs versus like maybe we need to be interviewing our parents, right, or someone else. I know how to form really good searches. When I know what I'm searching for, I don't write in complete sentences. I write words I'm looking for, and I find it. And if I don't find it on the first search, I change a few words, and then I almost always hit it. SGE is just giving me this list, almost like it's guessing what I'm trying to figure out, and then I've got to kind of look through that list to see what matches up, and maybe it answers my question. And then I end up scrolling past it anyways to get back to
I wouldn't even know.
the results I was looking for. Right? I don't know.
Wow. Now I don't feel bad that I don't have access to it. I feel like, all right, I'm lucky.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. By the way, surveying my parents like wouldn't work. If I asked my dad, hey, check this out. What do you think about this AI? He'd be like, oh, what's Al?
You need to ask somebody that at least realizes there's a difference on Google
What's
search,
Al?
but they aren't. I don't want to say professional
Google has
searchers, but you know
Al?
what I mean. Like so many of us use search and
Why
are
does
trying to
Google have
improve search.
Al?
Al,
Is it going to release Al?
Google Al.
Al. Why is all this news? My dad's
Google.
like, hey, what's all this news about Al I see going on?
Google.
Isn't that weird though? By the way, that like the lowercase L and an I can. How do you know?
I
Like
don't
maybe
know.
it is Al this whole time. Maybe it's been Al this whole time. We don't know. You know what the AI said? It said, you can call me Al. Boop, 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 boop. That'll bring us to our sponsor. We're proud to have InLinks as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. The new social media tool from InLinks solves big problems that other tools can't. InLinks doesn't use keyword research tools to tell you what to talk about on social media. It uses your content. That's right. InLinks starts planning a social media campaign by analyzing your current website and generating topical, relevant ideas to engage your audience and help build a valuable social media content plan. With your content driving the social media post content, there are no worries about relevant call to action pages or connecting social posts to the correct page. InLinks does that for you. Plus, if you're an agency, you can provide quick, relevant, actionable, and exceptional social media schedules for your clients based on their current website content and capabilities. Go to edgeofthewebradio.com/inlinks. That's edgeofthewebradio.com/inlinks to claim your free InLinks account today. Now for Al Tools.
Your favorite.
Al Tools. Okay.
For the
Our
record,
first-
when we were planning the show, Morty did go through and he put 3 links in there for me to put in the show.
I did.
It was a
Yes.
link to a photograph of an old phone from the 60s. Something
It's not
about
an old phone. They were talking about tools, and
Right.
I wanted to offer the audience relevant tools. The first is oldphoneshop.com. If you're looking for parts for your rotary phone,
right.
head over to Old Phone Shop. They have all of the parts. They write, many of you enjoy antique telephones as we do, whether it's collecting or restoring them. They have the parts for you.
You know,
I thought
there
that was relevant.
are lots of hobbies out there that I won't get in. That's one of them.
Yep.
I don't
All right.
blame anyone
Well,
else
you're
for
missing
having
out.
that, but
You're missing out.
yeah. Oof.
Also, if you're looking for VCR repair toolkits, some of you may be looking for AI toolkits. We don't have those. We have VCR repair toolkits. smcelectronics.com has surplus materials and components to help you build your next VCR. Their website also looks like it's from 1994, so it's just a nostalgic feel all around.
Probably hasn't been updated since then.
It probably hasn't been updated.
It
since
probably has a phone number
1994.
without an area code.
No, it does have a favicon. That's amazing. It has a favicon. That's awesome. Wow, look at that. Last but not least, for our Al Tool section of the show,
No, we have a
if
real
you're
one.
looking to fix your typewriter, head over to Chapman MFG for manufacturing. They have the Chapman MFG typewriter set number 623 that'll help you fix your typewriter today.
There you go. Let's do
Those
the
are-
real.
that's our
Let's do the real AI,
AI
tools.
tools. That's right. Because this, by the way, is my nice way of saying I am sick of covering stupid AI tools on the show.
Well, I got two good ones for you.
Okay, yeah, you do have a good one. Okay, fine.
I have two good
One
ones.
of them is
I think they're good. I mean,
Time Hero.
There's lots of tools, and a lot of this is us, finding these tools and looking at them for the first time. So yeah, Time Hero.
Take it away, Jacob. I will have no part of this.
All right, fine. Time Hero. This sounds interesting to me. This is one I'm going to sign up for and try out. They claim that they can get into, you can connect your calendar and various tools, task lists, and everything else, and it will help plan your day. And so it sounds to me like if you put a task in there and give it a due date, especially if you can give some timing to it, like, oh, this should take 3 hours to do or whatever, it will find holes in your schedule and put them in there. But then if you need to schedule a meeting or anything else like that, it will automatically start rescheduling everything. And I know I spend a good portion of my time adjusting meetings and everything else and saying, someone says, hey, can we do a meeting tomorrow at 12? I'm like, well, I had something planned there, but it's not critical to get done that day. So then I end up moving everything around. So if this tool could do some of that for me,
You know what I
I'd
would
like
do?
to try it out.
If the tool could say, hey, you know what? Because I have meetings that switch around all the time. Like, let's move this one to that one, and that one to this one, this one to that one, that one to this one. And if it moved all the other meetings for me.
And send out notices to everybody?
Like if he saw that I accepted
right
this meeting with somebody, it was able to reschedule at a time the other person I already scheduled was free and reschedule the meeting for me automatically.
That'd be pretty cool. That will probably require all of those people to also have the tool.
Yeah, it would. You would have to all like internally, let's say at Wix, right? If it was a company-wide thing, you would have access to everybody's calendars together.
Yeah.
I would be down for that.
Quickly find spots for everybody. Because that's always that's half the planning for any meeting is finding when everyone's available at the same time.
No joke. It is the schedule struggle is real.
You know what the other half of any good meeting is?
What's that?
Finding a good meme. And Supermeme.ai will take your text and recommend popular meme images and even generate them for you. So when you're trying to think of what, how does this perfectly fit into a meme, try out Supermeme.ai. I think this is one of the most important business tools out there today.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't ask for all these AI tools. They're good at one thing, asking for your credit card way up front.
Right.
They have no idea how to get you. At first, you offer the trial and then you ask for the credit card. I'm not that interested to offer my credit card off the bat. I don't trust you. But let's try this. Jacob, when will Erin get back to work already? Generate.
We're making a meme on the fly.
It's generating.
Okay.
Yeah, it's generating. It's got one. It has people yelling when the whole team demands updates from Erin, even though she's on a well-deserved vacation.
Okay. So it grabbed the spelling of Erin's name and made an assumption there. That's
Yep.
Can you edit that? Can you change it?
Oh yeah, you can edit it. Yeah.
Okay.
It has the guy from Office Space, the boss guy, making a face saying Jacob trying to get Erin back to work. That's good. This is good. All right, you've done well.
Send me all of these. We're putting them on the show notes. And
it's got a picture of Oliver, holding out the ball. When you're waiting for your coworker to stop slacking off and start pulling their weight.
Yeah, I mean, if we aren't trolling Erin with all of these memes on Twitter before this show even releases, so he understands the context, these are great.
I'm downloading that one. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Tweet that out there and tell people if you want to know why. Listen to the show. That's awesome.
At Jacob. Man. Great. Be like this when Erin blows off the podcast.
The real-time creation of memes with you.
Yeah, that's great. And we did this a lot. We created a meme and put out a tweet right here live on the show.
Live on the show. I love it. That's the only way to go.
Yep.
Well, I've got one last thing to do with you here, Morty, before we go. You know what that is?
What do we got? SEO. Oh, Barry Blast. Barry Blast.
Well, that was extra loud this week.
I like it. All right, Barry Blast. Here we go. Google search rankings algorithm update and volatility explodes this week, and it's gone. It all exploded. It blew up. It doesn't exist anymore. Smithereens. Am I reading that the right way? No, there was a lot of rank volatility. If you look at the SEMrush weather tracker, the SEMrush sensor, you'll see like crazy, like super red. We haven't seen super deep red on the SEMrush sensor in a long time, up to 9.3 on the SEMrush sensor Richter scale. So rankings are hot.
Yep.
Oh boy. Core update coming? Don't know. Barry was like, hey, haven't had a core update in a while. You know, the last time Barry said that about Bard, Google released a Bard update. So
see, once
we will see
again,
if Barry controls the internet here.
he's directing traffic.
Check your ranking. Oh boy. So things are in the red, and that's never good. Unless you're seeing a ranking improvement, in which case that's awesome, but it's probably going to get reversed because it's not an official update, and all this stuff gets reversed at some point. So if you're winning, nah, that's good.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it for now. If you're losing, you'll be all right.
Yeah, hang tight.
Yep.
Come back.
Yeah, hang in there.
Just
make a meme.
Put up more AI content, you know?
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's the best thing to do whenever you're worried.
I think so. Oh, no, rankings are down. Okay. We have one more article from Barry.
Last article, yeah.
Last article of the day. Google will pass along feedback from publishers around Canonical versus Noindex for syndication partners. You remember last week, on this very podcast, the godfather of SEO himself, Barry Schwartz, joined the Edge of the Web News podcast, that's this podcast, to talk about Google saying, hey, we've been saying use a Noindex for syndicated content forever, right? So Barry came on, talked about it. Web publishers, SEOs rather freaked out. Google did say, and it's covered by Barry here, that they're going to take the feedback and discuss it. And I believe them. I think that companies more often than, and I'm a cynic and I'm saying this, more often than you think, take that feedback and at least have a conversation. I can tell you we've done that on the Wix site a gazillion times and have actually made product changes based on the feedback we've heard. So maybe something good will come from it. You never know. Here's to hoping. Hope springs eternal here in July.
We'll see what happens.
Are we done with the show now?
That's
the show
it.
Over?
Show end.
That is the show. The show is over now.
I think that's it. We got second segment of Glenn Gabe releasing this week.
Glenn is a legend. Listen up.
Absolutely. And part of what we talked about was we've had a hard time getting him on the show before because when these algorithm updates happen, he gets very busy with that.
He
so
does.
we kind of squeezed him in there, and he hinted at the time of the recording that he thought another one was due. So that kind of matches up with some of the news we're reporting right now, I think.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, be sure to check that episode.
So check that out. Please do.
This week, if you're hearing this first, you can go listen to the first segment of Glenn Gabe that came out last week.
I need to do that. I started listening. I got to finish that.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Good one.
All right. The show is over.
Anything else, Morty?
The show is over.
The show is over.
I closed the slides. The show is over.
Oh, okay. Well, are you doing the outro phrase?
Nope. The show is over.
Oh, man. Well, then I'll do it. Stay safe. Stay well.
No, just do it. Come on. Just the show is over. Play the music.
Oh, just play the music? Don't tell everyone not to be a piece of don't be a piece of cyber driftwood. Don't say
end
that.
The show.
End the show. So don't say be safe, stay well, and don't be a piece of cyber driftwood. Just do this.
The show is over. The show is over.